And then let's introduce our next guest,
All right,
none other than Mr. Portnoy. I wish we need the video of him beforehand, behind just lurking around. He was like tucking in his shirt. And you're like, Dad, you got to get out of the shot.
He asked if he could just sit there. What time is it? Oh, I got a watch on. My watch is not working. I feel like I get a call at 5.
It's 3.
Okay, good. Let's go. He's slowly meandering his way here. All right.
The house looks sick.
You want a water?
Yeah.
Kareem will, yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Portnoy, how are you?
Eddie, how are you?
Good, good. It's good to have you back. How you been? I mean, it's been, have you lost your mind since Sirius ended?
A little bit.
You miss it?
Yeah.
Do I miss doing my show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You said I would.
I thought, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, I like doing it. I'm going to try to do
So
something
what do you do
else.
during that hour now? What do
What's
you,
that?
what do you do
does
during
mean?
that time?
What does that mean? You're going to try to do something else?
Thank you. I've had discussions with a few people about doing a podcast.
With us?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Who what?
Who? Who are you? A podcast with who?
No, I spoke to Jen, and we talked. I had some ideas about what I thought I would do, and she thought it was good. And I
She
told
says everything's good, but what was the ideas?
the idea.
You know they have to go through me to get approved.
I don't care about that.
Well, I mean, they do.
Well, you know, I'm in a different position than our last guest. He works for you. I really, when all is said and done, what are you going to do to me that's going to be so tough? You can't hurt me.
I'm not saying I could
No,
hurt
but I'm
you.
saying,
to
even-
do a podcast, it has to be, I'm going to eventually
All right,
find
what
out.
I thought of doing was something similar to what Kevin's doing, okay? Interviewing people like Eddie. I was going to interview Kevin, talk about things other than just Barstool things, to get so people would get to know. I don't know, I like Eddie, but I don't know the first thing about your background. I know that you work for Howard Stern, but I don't know anything other than that. And I like you. I'd like to get some information about you, about your life, about how'd you end up where you are right this minute. That's what
I'm in. I'll drive to Swampscott tomorrow, Miami, wherever you want to do it, Mr. Portnoy.
Okay, I'm not there right now, Eddie, but it's all right.
Can I, Eddie, from a third party,
Yeah.
what is the difference between that and what Kevin does?
Very little.
You're sitting right next to him. He's got the mask hanging. He's asking for water bottles. He's tucking in his
plus
shirt.
the fact, can
everything.
I tell you something? You know who my first guest was going to be? If I did this, was going to be Kevin. Because I spoke to Kevin about it.
So he greenlit it?
Yeah, he said, do you have any problem with me doing this? And he said, absolutely not.
Okay.
All right, so I'm not quite as behind as you think I am. I mean, I wasn't going to do it if he felt that he didn't want to see that happen. So I did discuss it with him. And I said to him, I think I'd like you to be my first
So
guest.
okay. So it's like behind Barstool 2.
Yeah. All right.
Behind the blog, too?
Yeah. It's basically identical to what Kevin does, except as my dad is the interviewer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's more than one interview show that you see everywhere anyway.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's
I
so
wanna
far
say,
ahead of
too-
you, Dave. He talked to Jen. He talked to Kevin. You're not even like...
Eventually it'll be brought to my...
I figured that. I didn't think
Yeah.
it was going to go on. You wouldn't know about it.
Right. No, I have to approve it.
Yeah, so that's fine. So if you didn't approve it, what am I going to do? Kill myself?
No, I would hope not. That seems extreme.
Yeah, I would say that's extreme. I want
So
to tell
when
you,
is this supposed to start?
I have no start date, all right? I want to tell you something, though. I'm reading a book about, you know, my favorite person, David Letterman.
Yeah.
You know how I love David Letterman, and I still miss him not being in the. But I'm reading this latest book about him, and there are a lot of similarities to you and some of the Barstool issues. I don't think Letterman's very insecure. No matter how successful he became, it was incredibly how insecure he was about his abilities, and I don't think you are at all. That's not what I'm talking about. But one thing that does seem pretty similar to me, especially from you, remember there was a writer's strike on a show in New York, Letterman's show. There was a strike. He went off the air for a while, then he came back on.
I didn't really, vaguely.
Yeah, but then after that strike, the dynamic between the writers and Letterman changed radically. And this is where I think I do see some similarities. A lot of the writers they had to have an appointment to speak to Letterman because he became so distant from them. And what was behind a lot of it was after the writers' strike, I think he started to realize, I really don't need these writers. What are they here for? We ran a show here for whatever time period it is. We didn't have any writers and we did fine. So I see some similarities where people don't feel they're getting their due or whatnot, and the writers are competing with each other to get Letterman to even pay attention to any of their ideas. And as time went on, it got worse and worse. Till in the end, he was just totally distanced from these people who, when he started, it was such a big part of the whole operation. And now the part where I'm at right now is when he left NBC to go to CBS, and that whole story. I find it very interesting because a lot of the skits they're talking about from way back when, I saw them, like the time the stage caught on fire, and a lot of people thought it was a joke. It was not a joke. They were staging I think it was either a mock bar mitzvah or a marriage and a wedding, and something somehow caught fire on the stage, and he had to start stamping it out. And these are things, all this stuff, I saw it when it happened, so I find it interesting, which you probably don't.
Well, I know you're a big Letterman fan.
Yeah.
We used to have, I've told, I mean, we had a room full of VHS, every VCR, because you just taped every Letterman.
Yeah, I did. And I still,
You still got them?
What's that?
Do you still have the VHSs?
I doubt it. Because I think what happened when you could do it, without any tapes and just set the recording, I would just watch. I still watch the late night shows, the various Kimmel and whatnot.
Who's your favorite now?
I'm going to surprise you with this, and of course I just got a cramp. Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah.
Where'd you get a cramp?
No, I brain cramp. I almost forgot his name.
He is the worst.
Trevor Noah?
Oh, he's horrible.
Well, we'll have
his delivery is. He is maybe the least funny, comedian I've ever listened to.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree.
I thought the guy before him was spectacular, Jon Stewart.
And I also think Colbert, when he was on the Comedy Channel, was better than now.
Colbert is terrible now. He was great on Comedy Central.
And Colbert lost his main thing when the Trumpster left.
Well, he wasn't even good then.
Well,
Who's
we'll have to agree
Dave?
to disagree. What?
My favorite what?
Late night.
I don't really watch it. I don't really watch it. I mean, Trevor Noah, I started paying attention to what he hosts, the Oscars or whatever, and I thought it was insufferably bad. And then I actually started paying attention a little bit, and I think he's just, in general, insufferably bad with the way he delivers his jokes.
You're trying to say insufferable.
Insufferably.
I don't think that's a word, but that's neither here nor there.
So
I want to say in his
book,
defense.
how does it remind you?
What?
I see what he's saying. There's an element of truth to what he said, which is like the Miami move. If the summer didn't happen and a lot of things that went down over the course of the year, I definitely felt a little bit like, what am I doing? Like, I've personally kind of made it. And what am I doing living in a place like, you see Jared, right? Jared moves to Boston. He wants to be in Boston. His mental health, and I don't want to do quotes, but a lot of people, I hear that a lot in Barstool. He does better in Boston. He does better, other people, this, that. Everyone's looking out, and I'm in a place I don't necessarily love either. And I'm in there trying to work my ass off. It's like, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. I'm still working just as hard, just like Jared says, but I'm in a different location that I enjoy more and I get to enjoy some of the success I've had. It's like, I'm not going to, if I don't think people are as appreciative or care what I bring to the table being there, I'm not going to be there. So I've been better now even surrounding myself on trips with people I like and things like that, as opposed to everybody else. So that did change. And when he says writer's strike, it's something that clicks where it's like, what am I busting my ass for you for? And there was, and a lot of our dynamics have changed a little bit. In the office, people have left who I don't like, but whatever. But, there's a lot of headaches as to what am I dealing with this for? Like, they need me a hell of a lot more than I need them.
I think that I'm not trying. Your personality and Letterman's. There were some similarities with others. What do you think of Chris Elliott?
The comedian?
Yes.
I mean, I think he's funny.
You think he is funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is very funny. He became. This is way before your time. Bob and Ray were a very popular comedy duo on the radio. And
Bob and Ray?
Yeah, I know you don't know who they are. The only reason I'm mentioning it is Chris Elliott's father was one of the guys on that team, and they were very popular in radio years ago. Letterman and Chris Elliott had absolutely no. He started as a guy going to get coffee, worked his way up to became Letterman's man. It literally became, if you watched Letterman, you saw Chris Elliott did all these bits, the guy from under the stairs, and he had a whole thing. He made a movie, and Letterman, who never did this, did a cameo in the movie. And then just the show that's on now that just won the Emmys, Chris Elliott has a role in that, Schitt's Creek. Chris Elliott, anybody watch Schitt's Creek? Chris Elliott.
Show.
Huh?
Very, very popular show.
Yeah, Chris Elliott had a big role in that. And I think he's very popular, but the point is he became Letterman's number one guy, even though he had no reason to ever get to that point. But in the end, Letterman leaned on him for everything in the end.
That was a meandering. What does that have to do with anything?
No, you're talking about comedians and people you like and you don't like. And
Chris Elliott, Dave.
Yeah, you
Thank
follow
you,
that,
Eddie.
It's Chris Elliott.
Yeah, it is.
Well, do you understand why I brought him up? Forget it, Eddie. I don't like the way you're hemming and hawing here. What?
I got you.
When
Mr.
Eddie doesn't
Portnoy, don't worry.
uniformly have your back, that means you just went off on something that nobody knows what the hell.
Yeah,
you're
I know he's protected me from you a couple times, I think.
Yeah, he does. That's why for him not to be like, of course I know what you're talking about.
Is that your nature? I'm just curious about that. Not with me, but generally.
Well, yeah, you like to.
He could do maybe like, I've never listened to Rogan. I know it's like a 4-hour podcast, but maybe these interviews, they're just meandering philosophies on nothing in particular for like 6 hours.
I'm in. How do you like the house, Mr. Portnoy? What do you think?
You know, something I've
possibly...
They just got here.
I just got here. I've seen nothing. We had a hard time. We had no problem getting to this street, but we had a big problem finding where you were. I almost stopped because they were outside playing basketball. And I was sad, and I almost stopped, but this couldn't be it. I don't know what I thought, but
Are you thinking about making the move down there as well?
Where, Miami?
Yeah.
Never.
No?
No. We have a place there.
They're in an old person. They're in like Boca
del Vista.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
the
okay.
Seinfelds.
All right. So you would have want them a little closer, Dave? Big house?
It's not
Squeeze them in
that
there.
far. They came down. It was like an hour drive. It's not that far.
The answer to that question is no. A big no. Don't want them closer. We haven't,
So
like
this
you
is
said,
your first time.
since I
It's your
think
first time
you
seeing
didn't
each
come
other in over a year,
Thanksgiving,
right?
So it's been
First time since COVID. Yes.
yeah,
That's
long
a
time.
long time.
Yeah, well, it's like you go the whole routine. They're getting up there. You make it a certain distance by quarantining. You might as well just go the whole kit and caboodle. They got the vaccine.
Oh, there you go. Did you drive or did you fly? How'd you do this?
They're an hour away, Eddie.
Oh, so they're
We have
staying
a place
down.
about an hour.
Yeah.
An hour north.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought you came down from Swamps. Interesting. Okay, and how long you staying? What's on the agenda? For
I don't
the
know.
week?
They're sleeping over. I didn't totally know that till I saw them come in with the suitcase, which is totally fine. I haven't seen them, so we'll probably eat dinner and just catch up.
Yeah.
And we got the sour cream cake. We're all good to go.
Yeah.
Yep, saw that.
That's a bonus.
Yep.
She went through a lot of extra effort to get that done.
That's great. I'm happy we had the reunion like right when he walked in on the show. So,
Yeah, I mean, he can be more of a role on the show now that he doesn't have his own show.
he could.
I don't think
He
so
could,
after
yeah.
what's going on today.
Why?
Well, I would love to do that. I mean, but, you know.
We could easily carve in a segment, Mr. Portnoy. But whatever book you're reading, your best tidbit, just come in and then you just bounce it off us, and we.
I'll tell you something. I haven't been reading hardly at all, but this book really interests me because, like I said a minute ago,
Talking about the Dave Letterman book again?
yeah, a lot of
Tell us about it.
Your mother's laughing in the background. See, this is what I want to say. This is Letterman. What he's doing right now is what Letterman did.
I'm not doing anything.
No, I want it to then. This is why I love, with a straight face, Letterman could be mocking someone and they wouldn't even realize it. I mean,
well, you realized it.
Well, I'm an educated guest. I know you and I know Letterman. And I know your mother's laughing in the background. So I get the whole thing.
And he said, tell us about it. He doesn't want to hear about it, Mr. Portnoy. That was a lead on. You know what he was doing.
Oh, no, he didn't want
Wait, what book?
Huh?
What book are we talking about?
Are you kidding me now?
I had him there for a second.
No, he was hoping I would yell at him or something. No, we haven't had
about it.
We and I've always said this. Whenever the conversations that we would have in private on the phone are exactly what we're doing right now. I mean, there's not an iota of difference. Whatever I say, he's challenging me on it, and I'm trying to defend
I
myself.
didn't challenge you. You went. I haven't challenged anything.
Oh, man. Well, it's great to have you back.
Well, I would
Mr.
like to come
Portnoy.
back.
Yeah,
I'm not coming
it's
down here to
good
do it again, but
Yeah, well, we'll get
It's an
something in
hour
the
away.
works.
I mean, it's not that far.
I think I don't think Jared's especially happy with this whole situation.
I hadn't heard the clip. What Erica said I thought was fair. She looks at a different perspective. I mean, he's a content guy in my mind. It's hard to, baseball's a different category, but it's fair for him to react however he wants. She's putting a podcast out there, so it's fair game.
You know who does a great job is your football guy. Absolutely great. Right. Writes the
Jerry?
Huh?
Jerry?
Jerry. Yeah.
Thornton?
Yeah, Jerry Thornton. I think he hasn't slowed down with the writing one iota during this whole COVID. You don't agree with that?
I just he's been with us for two
I know
decades.
that. He was at your wedding. I know that. He was. Trust me.
He's very good at covering the Patriots.
He's excellent. I'm saying there has been no drop off at all. I think he works hard in writing and with those columns. I really do. Yeah. And I find it interesting. What do you think is going to happen with the Patriots?
I think they'll be very good.
What I'm talking about the draft of a quarterback.
I have no idea. I never know what they're going to do. But I think Belichick's. I think the Patriots will be back with a vengeance.
I was listening to something on one of these shows. They're talking about them trying to get the Ohio State quarterback.
Fields.
Yeah, and if they're saying if they got him, they will be back immediately.
Who's they?
The Patriots.
No, but you said they were saying.
Oh, I was saying I was listening to probably something on ESPN or something. I don't remember. I don't know the names of the guys, but the quote unquote experts, and they were saying if they get if he comes to the Patriots, it's going to be a quick rise back to the top.
Do you put any faith in what they say on ESPN?
Depends who's talking.
That's an ongoing thing.
I know. Can I just say, I know what you're going to say. Before you even say it, I know what whenever I say anything, he'll say to me, where'd you get that from?
Well, if he hears something on TV or sees on the internet, it's fact.
But since you might not believe this, but I'm not in the Patriots locker room. Okay. So where does anybody that's not right there get the opinion that they have? They got to get it from someone that they consider knows more about us a little bit on the inside than I am not. So if it sounds credible, I might feel that this might be true. I don't know why you always had a problem with that.
Because they're wrong far more than they are right.
But for the average Joe like me, you want me to have first.
So it's just I saw on ESPN somebody said if they get Justin Fields, the Patriots will be back quickly.
What's wrong with that?
It's ridiculous. Maybe not. Maybe they get. I don't know. It's he's Justin Fields. He's a top quarterback.
I'm coming back if Justin Fields is drafted by the Patriots.
It's there are rumors, but.
Thank you, Eddie.
What about is everything smoothed over? I just remembered. I think the last time you were on, Mr. Portnoy,
you got mad.
Was the
what did you get mad
Smarcus?
What did they get mad?
Smarcus Mamonis.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Are you trying to stir something up?
Well, I'm just making sure like dinner's going to be okay tonight.
Yeah, no, I forgot. I didn't even know what you're talking about.
I was.
You threw a tantrum.
I wasn't happy about how that was handled. And as much as you try to keep things under control, you didn't do a very good job of that. But I know you're trying hard. But
I tried.
No, I mean, another thing we'll have to agree to disagree about that. You said to me, as I recall, what you were accusing me of was intentionally doing something with him, Simonis, that I said something and it wasn't right. I don't even remember exactly the details, although it wasn't all that long ago. But
no need to bring it up, Eddie. No need to bring it up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen COVID. I don't want to go. I know I was right, and everybody will listen to it uniformly. When I say 99%, 100% of unbiased observers.
You're not right about that.
Oh.
I especially remember the one thing that I saw that somebody wrote and said to me, your son should be ashamed of himself. Yeah. I remember that one. That one I remember. Some of the others weren't so complimentary, but that one was.
Specifically that.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Eddie.
I just, I had to check in, right? It's a show.
Yeah, I like the way you're doing this with a straight face, too. That was.
You're a recurring guest, Mr. Portnoy.
What's that?
You're a recurring guest, so I got to make sure all our appearances are in line.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to have you on. If I ever do this, I'm going to have you on. I am curious about you in particular.
I would love to. Mr. Portnoy.
Do you mind if I do that?
No, it sounds like a great episode, great show.
Maybe I'll have Jared on next.
There you go. Well, all right, Dave, you want to keep rolling through the topics? I mean, you could stay, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to add some in, whatever we want to do here.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. Can I just sit here and listen?
No, that's great. So we could keep moving. You definitely give us some tweets and stuff, Dave. I like the live tweets from dinner about what your dad's doing and everything.
I'm sure I'll have some. He gets angry when I do that, but I'm sure I'll have some.